The internet is full of people who are 20 years old and have already started 3 businesses and bought a sweet ride. But I'm not one of them, unfortunately. On the bright side, over the years, I've made so many mistakes that it's enough to write a small book or just make this video. So let's go with 20 things I learned by the time I turned 20. First, your high school grades don't matter at all. Seriously. Because no one in adult life is ever going to ask you about calculus or chemistry formulas. The main thing you actually needed to learn back then was just how to manage tough situations and talk to people. Second, parents aren't perfect. Because when you're a kid, they seem like superheroes who know everything. But later, you realize they are just scared kids themselves with a bit more experience. They just grew up and are trying to figure out life as they go, exactly like you are doing right now. Third, most of your friends will drift away, and that's totally fine because people change and interests change. If someone becomes boring or exhausting to be around, you don't need to keep dragging that relationship along just for old time's sake. Fourth, sleep is not for the weak, even though it used to feel totally normal to sit at your computer until 4 in the morning. Now I get that if you don't get at least 7 hours of sleep, your next day is officially ruined because you'll be angry, dumb, and tired. So it's just not worth it. Fifth, nobody cares about you. And I mean that in a good way, because you can spend half an hour stressing out because you dressed weird or stuttered during a conversation. Spoiler alert, everyone else at that exact moment is only thinking about themselves and their own screw ups. So just relax because nobody cares. Sixth, money you earned yourself feels completely different, even if it's just a tiny amount. When you realize how many hours of your life a new device or a piece of clothing actually costs, you start looking at price tags in a whole new way. Seventh, having weird interests is actually cool, so you don't need to try and look serious or copy the crowd. If you like digging into old archives, spending hours tweaking a microphone, or collecting pixels in a video game, just ignore what others think because it's what makes you feel alive. Eighth, knowing how to say no saves you a ton of time. Because I used to agree to every little thing just because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I ended up wasting my whole evening on stuff I didn't care about at all. But other people getting upset is their problem, and your time belongs to you. Ninth, your health gets messed up faster than you think because at 16 you think you can do anything, but at 20 you realize your back can hurt just from turning the wrong way. So don't forget about working out, sleep, and good food, and also drink your water and stop slouching. 10th, looking successful and actually being successful are two different things because people on social media only post their best moments and expensive purchases. In reality, they might have a ton of debt, issues, and an empty fridge, so don't compare your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. 11th, working is nothing to be ashamed of, but being lazy and doing absolutely nothing is what's shameful. If someone judges you for doing something you love, whether it's a hobby or a job you enjoy, just forget those people even exist. 12th, don't wait for the perfect moment because it's never coming, and there will never be a Monday where you wake up with 100% motivation to fix your life. If you want to start a project or a channel, launch it right now from your bedroom with bad audio, and you'll figure things out along the way. 13th, the opinion of the majority is usually complete nonsense. And just because everyone around you says you should do something a certain way because that's how it's done, it doesn't mean they're right. Think for yourself, even if it looks weird to others, because I've been right in situations like that so many times. 14th, your appearance matters because the world is built in a way that people judge a book by its cover. You don't have to buy designer clothes, but just be neat, clean, and wash your face before going out, because it instantly gives you a confidence boost. 15th, you don't have to know what you want to be when you grow up. and a lot of 20-year-olds have absolutely no clue what they want to do. Even people in their 30s and 40s switch jobs and start over from scratch. So life isn't a straight line, and it's completely normal to look for yourself. 16th, holding on to grudges is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to get sick. If someone treated you badly, the best response is to just move on and forget about it, because your anger only drains your own energy, and since they've already forgotten about you, why are you still thinking about them? 17th, being alone is actually good for you, even though I used to think that if I spent an evening by myself, something was wrong with me. Now I really value those moments of putting on some music, sitting in silence, and just thinking. Because if you're bored when you're by yourself, why should anyone else find you interesting? 18th, don't argue with fools, because you will never prove anything to anyone, and you'll just waste your time and your energy. If you hear someone saying something stupid, just forget it and save your sanity, because it's pointless to argue with stupid people, and you cannot change their minds. They might agree with you just to end the conversation, but they'll still think they're right, so don't waste your breath on them. 19th, study for the career that you want and not the one your parents want, because there is nothing worse than working a job you hate and blaming your parents for making you study for it. Go study what you actually want, and even though they will complain for a bit, they'll get over it. This is your life, and you are the one who has to build it. So even if you're already in your second, third, or fourth year, just drop out and go study what you actually want. 20th, the most important thing is that you have time, so you don't need to constantly rush and panic like you're running out of time. You have so much time ahead of you, so many mistakes to make, wins to celebrate, and cool stories to live through. Remember, it is never too late to start something new. Never. So just take a deep breath, relax, and just live. Because even I, after 20 years, realized that I don't know shit. Bye-bye.